Hey crafters, this is Mai here. So today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble our love themed bookmarks. As you can see, these are kind of for Valentine's Day, but there's nothing on them that says, hey, it's Valentine's Day. So this is going to be one of those crafts that you could technically use year round. I've already gone ahead and I've cut all of my bookmarks out, all 3 designs that are in the file, and I've also lined them up in the order that I want for gluing. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing, and we're just going to get started doing that first and right away. So I'm going to start with this one here. And this one has the most layers. It has 4 layers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these up here for just a moment. And I am going to just go ahead and add some glue here to the back of this bottom layer. And then I'm going to hold it between my fingers here, and I'm going to line up this bottom and the edges using my fingers to get everything in that right order and placement before I press it down. And once I have it, then I'm just going to press it down like that to make sure that it is bonded and secure. I'm going to do the same thing here with this white layer. And so this is also one of those crafts that you could go ahead and just use the cardstock, or what is it? The medium cardstock cut setting. I kind of forgot there for a second. And so this one was pretty easy here. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, kind of holding it here between my fingers, lining it up, and then pressing it down. Okay. And there we go. All right. And now for this last piece, I just want to make sure I've got my orientation correct before I go ahead and glue it, because I wouldn't want it to go this way. Okay. So I've got it in the right orientation here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add my glue again here, making sure that I'm going at least around the edges of the heart here to make sure that all of these edges are going to glue down. And then just kind of in between as well to make sure that none of the edges or none of these cuts here in the center accidentally peel up and then my bookmark ends up ripped. Okay, so same thing now. I'm going to go ahead and hold it here between my fingers, use my fingers to help me line it up in that right position, and then just pressing everything down and we're good to go. Okay, so that finishes this one and it looks great. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one here next because this is going to be the harder one out of the 3. And I probably should have done this one first, but I didn't think about it right away. Okay, so this one has 4 layers too, but this top layer here is just this outline of the heart. But these 2 layers in between here where we have the wording, these 2 are going to be the hardest layers to glue down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of piecemeal it. And I'm going to start right here where this heart is and then work my way out for both sides. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that is because of all of the wording. Because there's so many letters here and the wording is there and it's thin, I'm going to take my time and just piecemeal it here. So you can see that I'm adding the glue right here in the center and of that heart and just kind of getting everything there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to hold this one here between my fingers and I'm going to line it right up. And then just making sure that those letters and everything are lining up right on top of each other. And like I said, this is one where take your time with it because this lettering, it's hard. It's hard to do, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this part up and then I'm just going to take my time and kind of work my way by adding the glue on some of these letters here. Now you do also want to go ahead and make sure that you're adding glue to a lot of the letters because again, we don't want to have any part of the bookmark kind of start to peel up. Now I'm going to flip it back this way to make sure that I'm getting it lined up here on the front part. And if you have any glue seeping, Don't worry too much about it because it's all going to glue right down onto that pink layer and a lot of it's going to be hidden. Okay. And this B kind of is off just a little bit there, and it's okay. All right, so now for this last part here on this side, again, just peeling it back a little bit there and then adding the glue right along all of the edges and here on the letters. Okay. And then just pressing it down. And there we go. This looks great. Okay, now for the other side, where we have here, just this part, same thing. Just adding this glue right here. And then just pressing it down and making sure that it lines up. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we're going to take this one and we're going to place it right down here on our pink back piece of the bookmark. Now with this one, we're going to want to kind of eyeball the positioning here. This one's not just going to layer one right on top of the other. We want to eyeball the positioning. We want to make sure that this is kind of landing right in here in this curved part at the top, and that there's a little bit excess towards the bottom here. So there's just a little bit of an outline. And I really liked this one. My heart bookmarks you. I thought it was kind of funny and it was cute for those books that we love when we're reading. All right, so we're going to add the glue here to the back. And again, I'm going to start and focus more here at the top so I can do alignment first. And you can see I'm just adding my glue here along the backs of these letters to make sure that none of them start to peel up as use of the bookmark occurs. And now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to again kind of line it up where it looks eyeballed and in the center there. And I'm going to do the same thing up here towards the top before it presses down and glues. Now, as you're moving everything along here, just remember too that if you're using the art glitter glue like I am, you don't have to worry too much about any seeping glue there because it's going to dry clear and it'll be okay. So once you have it, then just really press it down. And then we're going to flip and then kind of press this piece up and then just add the glue here underneath at the bottom. And this is looking great. All right, so we're almost done. Make sure you add the glue there on the heart as well, because that's a big piece to help keep it secure. And then again, press it down. There we go. So mine looks like it kind of shifted here a little bit. It's not, yep. I kind of brought it down more here at this part. I probably should have added a score line to it. Maybe I'll do that to help you guys. All right, and then I'm just gonna add glue here to the outline of this heart, and then I can press this one down. Probably should have checked my orientation. Okay, and there it goes. Okay. All right, so now for this last one, I'm going to speed up the video here. This is just going to be layering these three on top of each other, and it's going to be really quick and easy. So I'm just going to speed up the video. There's a little heart left over. Okay, so now we've got all three completed. They are glued together. And if you want, you are perfectly fine to stop here. Like, these are great bookmarks just the way that they are. You don't have to do anything extra or anything else to complete this project. I'm just gonna close up my glue now because we're done. And if you want to continue and you want to kind of jazz up your bookmark a little bit more and add a little bit extra flair, what we're now going to do is we're going to punch some holes here so that way we can create a tassel to make our bookmarks have a tassel as well. Okay, now you're going to need some embroidery floss. So I've got 3 little colors here. I've already gone ahead and I've made 2, and I made one shorter and one longer, just to give you the options and to show you that there are 2 different ways that you can make it. It's personal preference. I like the longer tassel, so I'm going to make my next one longer. But I just wanted to show you guys that you can make it shorter, and I'll show you how you can make it shorter in just a moment. So we've got the embroidery floss that we're going to use for tassels. We have this fun tool that is called a grommet. So this tool is called the grommet tool or the grommet plier, and then these are called grommets. They're also known as eyelets. So if you're at the craft store and you're looking for this tool and you can't find it, they're also known as eyelets. So that's another name that they go by. I will say that I picked up this tool at my local Harbor Freight, and it was $5. If you go to the craft store, you can find this tool that might be closer to 10. It might be closer to 20. Some of them are as expensive as $40. So just keep that in mind. But some of the eyelets or the grommet pieces here, they'll come in fun, pretty colors. So if you're using this for other kinds of paper crafting or like junk journaling, this is another great tool that you could use for it. And you could get these grommet pieces or these eyelets in fun, pretty colors. These are just regular stationary ordinary ones here. So there's nothing really fun about them. But if you have the colored ones, they could really add a different kind of pizzazz to your paper craft. Okay. And then we're also going to need a regular hole punch. All right. So let's get started. Now, I did not add the holes to the bookmarks because I wasn't sure if everyone was going to want to do this. So if you are not, that's okay. There's no holes. But if you are, we're going to use our hole punch, and we're going to go ahead and just kind of place a hole kind of right in the center. Make sure you're not super close to the edge, otherwise it might rip. But you want to place it kind of right in the center here. And I'm actually going to do it this way. And place it down just a little bit. You want to at least go 1/4 of an inch in, and then just hole punch. Create a hole inside of your bookmark there. So I'm going to do the same thing here, about 1/2 of an inch in, and then kind of right in the center, and then place another hole. And then for this one, I kind of left it here already for you. So we're just going to place it kind of right about there, and then just place the hole. I probably should have gone down a little bit further, but it's okay. All right, so next we're going to choose a grommet for each one of these. And I like the silver, so we're gonna go with a silver. So I'm gonna pick 3 silvers out here. And we're going to get our tool, and some of them have this little mechanism here to keep it closed. All you do is just kind of push on it and to open it there. Okay, then you're going to take your eyelet or your grommet, push it right through so that way this piece is coming through at the bottom. With the tool itself, you've got one part of the tool that has this pointy part, and then another part that has the flat part here. Hopefully you guys can see that with the camera and maybe with the lighting. So this side has the pointy, this side has the flat. The flat side is going to go with the flat side here of our eyelet. And so you're just going to place it and line it up right there. And it's going to be a little tricky for me to do it this way. So I'm going to do it like this. You're going to line it up so without pressing. And then all you're going to do is press it down and kind of clamp it until it goes all the way down until it's secure like that. And then you can let go. And you can see that it has put it there. And so you can see it's bent here on the back, and there it is. So I'll do it again because I've got 3 to do. So I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see and I can see it a little bit more. Okay, and then just press it in and keep pressing until it smushes down all the way. It does use a little bit of force, and then you can let go. And then for the last one here, this one might be a little tricky, but hopefully not. And then oh, we're almost there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see it on the back, and there we go. And so this is just going to be a fun way to jazz it up and to add this tassel here. All right, so once you're done, you can put that part off to the side, and now let's make our tassel. So I have colors here that kind of coordinate with my paper. So I'm going to use this light pink one here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of it out. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's always okay to pull out more. If you have less, that's where you're going to run into problems. Okay, so with it still attached here, you can see now that I have the embroidery floss. If you want to go for a shorter tassel, then what you would do is just cut it right here in the center. I'm going to make mine have a longer tassel. So I'm going to cut this, I'm going to take this one down here, and I'm going to cut this one probably right about here. So that way my tassel will be a little bit longer. If you cut yours in half, then what you'll find is you'll be able to make more tassels with your embroidery floss and kind of save a little bit more. Instead of one embroidery floss only making one tassel, you could make 2 out of the 1, okay? Then I'm also going to cut this one here, and what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take a little bit here and maybe take about a foot, because we want to make sure that it's a little bit long. So we're going to take about a foot here, and we are going to separate this so that way we can see the hole through. And we're going to bring this right on through to the other side, because we're going to make our loop. And you just have to find it. So I can see it more this way. So just kind of fish it right through. And it didn't go through. Did it go? Nope. This one's coming out at the top there. Okay. There it is. All right. So once you have it going through on the other side, you want to take the 2 ends and meet them together. Now, again, I like a shorter loop for mine. If you like the longer loop, then your tassel is going to be a little bit further away from your bookmark. But I like the shorter loop because I like to have mine a little bit closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, which is probably about 3 inches, and I'm going to make a knot. So all I'm doing is just fishing it through right there, and I'm making a knot. I'm pulling it really tight to make sure that it stays tight there. I'm going to do it again and make sure that that knot ends up right on top of the one that I just made. And again, pulling it really tight. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece off, and I'm going to make sure that my knot is ending up, this is an extra piece. I'm going to make sure that my knot is ending right here in the center underneath. So you can see my knot right here. And make sure that it ends right up there in the center. And I have another extra piece here that's hanging. So I'm going to pull that one out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this other second piece that we have, which is nice and long, and I'm going to put my tassel kind of right about here. So just down a little bit. So I'd probably say this is, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. And what we're going to do again is we're going to make another knot right here. So we're just going to tie it right about there, nice and tight. And then I'm going to double knot it just to make sure that it's secure. And I lost the second strand there. There it is. Okay. So again, just making sure that it's nice and secure. And now what we're ready to do is we're kind of ready to make that band of the tassel. So all we're going to do is just wrap this around now. Do it a couple times. It depends on how thick you want yours to be or how thin. So I'm going to do this one. That looks pretty good to me for this side. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab one of these pieces now in the center here that's already coming down, and I'm going to make another knot with this piece. So I'm going to pull this one through. But the trick now is when you go to make this one, you make the knot, but don't pull too hard, because what will happen is you'll pull this piece down. It's on the inside there. So I made one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it again, just to make sure that it's tight and secure, but don't pull it again so much. And now we're going to take these two pieces, bring them right down there in the center. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, lots of strings today. Okay, so, and I kind of want to try and cover up my knot just a little bit in case it's visible. If it's visible, you do kind of want to try and cover it up. You also want to make sure that you're not getting your loop in the middle of that there too. All right, that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got this one here. Pull this one off to the side. Hopefully I didn't go out of my camera. I just realized my hand was inching down there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to grab just one in the center there, and I'm going to, again, make a little knot right here. Okay. And then remember, don't pull it down too much when you make the knot. I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time. And it's always a little tricky to get it to pull right through because the colors are all the same. And so it can be hard to see it. Okay. And so if your knot is visible and it bothers you, what you can do then is just take a little bit of what you have here and just kind of push that down a little bit and push this up, push the knot up, and then push this one down. And that will kind of hide it just a little bit so it's not as visible there. All right, so now once you have it all done, you kind of want to comb it through, make sure that all of the ends are here and you can see them. And we had all of this extra, right? We made sure that we had extra. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use my hands here and we're going to cut off all of this extra to make sure that it is even. Okay, and so there we go. We've made our little tassel. All right, and so now we're ready to add it to our bookmark. So when you have it here, I'm going to use this purple one. We're going to take our loop, fish it right through, and open up the loop, take the tassel, fish it through the center there, and then just pull it tight. And voila, you can see it. So we're going to do, I'm going to use this one here because this one kind of seems to match more. So again, just fishing it through right there. Then we are going to take the tassel and pull it through the loop. And there's number 2. And then for the last one, fishing it right through there. And there we go. So this is just another fun craft that we can make. And even though it's a bit more Valentine's themed, it's one that we could use year round, okay? So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.